A short video. Well, I'm gonna try to make it short on the things I got on the trip. There's a lot of vinyls to show. We'll start with this. This is the Modern Lovers debut album. It was limited to just 1,000 copies of colored vinyl for their 20th anniversary. They're numbered. They're an 180-gram vinyl from the original tapes. I got the number 58, so pretty first one in the press. It's a white vinyl. It's just great. Then also I got some picture vinyls. First of all, Judas Priest, British Steel, great album, and a fantastic version. Also, Educated Horses by Rob Zombie. I got this one for a bargain, very cheap at Sister Ray Records. I got all these three picture vinyls at Sister Ray in London. This one is Hunky Dory by David Bowie, probably his finest work. Great album. And also the Freewheeling Outtakes by Bob Dylan. It's just beautiful. Made me very happy to find this one. Then I got Every Picture Tells a Story by Rod Stewart, an artist who doesn't have many good albums, but this one and Raincoat Will Never Let You Down, they are great albums. Then Funkadelic, Maggot Brain, great album. Simply the song that gives name to the album, Maggot Brain, is worth buying the album. That solo by Eddie Hazel is just perfect. Then free LP gatefold of The Who, live at the Isle of Wight Festival 1970. They come in blue vinyls, so it's just beautiful. It's a light blue, quite similar to the logo of The Who, so it's beautiful. Then I got this very cheap. This is Machine Head by Deep Purple, but a tribute to by this great artist. It's just great. It's very good. I remember the version of How We Start by Chicken Foot. It's fantastic. I believe Glenn Hughes also sings on that track. Also on Maybe I'm a Leo. Fantastic vocalist. Space Trucking by Iron Maiden is great. Very good album. Then I got the first pressing from the Netherlands of this fantastic record I already had. The Live in Hamburg by Focus is a great album. Very good album by a great Netherlands band. Then I got Rumors, very cheap. This is a classic. I got it the same day as its anniversary. Got it very cheap and had never bought this album. Then another one I got pretty cheap is Abraxas by Santana. This is a quadraphonic version from Colombia. I googled them on the internet and it's very expensive, like at least $40, and in comparison to what I got it, which was I guess £7, it's pretty expensive. Foreign Affairs by Tom Waits. Simply a great album by a great artist. He has so many good albums. Graceland by Elvis, recorded live on stage in Memphis. A very good album by The King. The medleys in this record are simply perfect. Got it for a bargain in the Discreet back in Birmingham. Rick Danko, the solo album by the bassist of the band. He in this album has many good guests: Ronnie Wood, Eric Clapton, Robbie Robertson, Levon Helm, and a few more. I can remember them all. Wipe the Window, Check the Oil, Dollar Gas by the Allman Brothers. Double live album, very good, very good. With Dickie Betts performing great as always. This is one of my favorite blues albums of all time. East West by the Paul Butterfield Blues Band. The second album by the band, very good. One of the finest works in the blues. Moondog Matinee by the band. This one is a weird Japanese version without an obi. It's a good album, not one of the finest by the band, but still a very good album. Then I got this double version of Sid Barrett, which has the Madcap Loves and Barrett. Well, these are two fantastic albums, especially the second one, personally my favorite. Barrett, the one of the insect, very good album. Then Islands by the band in the Back to Black version from the original analog tapes. This album has the perfect version by Richard Manuel of Georgia on My Mind. Then Electric Warrior by T-Rex, also a Back to Black version from the original tapes. My favorite T-Rex album. Then I got the first pressing of Get Your Wings by Aerosmith from the US. This one is pretty hard to find and my favorite Aerosmith album by far. Then I got Captain Beefheart and the Magic Band, the Shiny Beast, Bad Chain Puller. First time I found it on vinyl. It wasn't very expensive. I got it on Concerto, the best record store I ever went to, I believe, back in Amsterdam. Perfect. Lou Reed, Sally Can Dance, very good album. First time I saw it on vinyl. Then Manassas by Stephen Stills, great double album by a great artist who's not who doesn't get the credit he deserves. Then I got the Stooges, the first album, and I got this one pretty cheap in HMB in London. This one's double. The first album has the original album, the second one some outtakes and different mixes. Then the same goes to Funhouse, my favorite by the Stooges. This one also, first side the original album, then the second album, the second record is outtakes and stuff like that. Then compilation by Johnny Cash. I got it very cheap, and especially I got it because it has Cold Heart, a song by Hank Williams I love, and I wanted to listen to that song on vinyl by Johnny Cash. Then the Back to Black version of Nevermind the Bollocks by the Sex Pistols, also from the analog tapes. Iron Maiden Live After That, great album, and this is the first pressing from the UK, double album, live with Bruce Dickinson, fantastic. Then Secret Treaties by Blue Oyster Cult. It's pretty hard to find the first albums by this great band. Luckily I got this one, so I'm glad. Then The Libertines, Anthems for Doomed Youth. It's very rare for me to buy a record from that was released after the 2000, actually after the 90s in vinyl, but I love this one and it was pretty cheap and I don't have it on CD, so just fuck it. Then the Butterfield Blues Band, their debut album, great album, already with Mike Bloomfield, also in East and West, just magnificent. Then The Kinks, this one I was amazed. At first I was kind of doubting because of this thing on top, like I thought it might be a bad version of the album, but then I saw it on another record store at 30 euros and I was like, well, this might be good, because I got it like for 5 euro. Then Alice Cooper, Welcome to My Nightmare. Boys Don't Cry by The Cure, very cheap in Concerto. Patience by Peter Hamill from Van der Graaf Generator, great album. Parliament, The Clones of Dr. Frankenstein. Well, as everything in Parliament, it deserves a listen, and this one is a pretty good album, one of their best, personally. Then Black Sabbath, Mob Rules, the second album with Dio, great album. Then Gino Bonelli, Brother to Brother, a very underrated album. Then Bill Evans, The Tokyo Concert. Had never seen this record before, but it's Bill Evans, so it must be good. Then Lee Reitner, very good record by him. Peter Gabriel, the B-52s. Then I got Medicine for a Nightmare, a compilation of singles by Sun Ra. Great album, very good album by a very intriguing artist, one of my favorites. Languidity as well by Sun Ra, my favorite album by him. Very deep album. And then Jazz in Silhouette by Sun Ra. Got it without a previous listen. I got it in Sister Ray in London, and I asked them if I could listen to it for a second to see if it was like minimalistic or something else, and it actually was something else. It was kind of a free jazz, so I got it. Then Zappa in New York. This one I had seen it lots of times before, but never got to buy it because it was always very expensive, so I don't know, I just passed, and now I got it pretty cheap. Also Zidalures, same thing as Zappa in New York. Then I got this masterpiece, the first original pressing from Germany by Verb of We're Only In It For The Money by the Mothers of Invention. A great album by Frank Zappa. Then I got this thing for two very expensive albums. Here comes Burnt Winnie Sandwich and Whistles Rip My Flesh. They are two albums that are pretty hard to find. Well, Burnt Winnie Sandwich not that much, but they're always very expensive, like from $30 above. So I got this one for €12 and I'm glad. Then Lodger by David Bowie. Got it pretty cheap, if not I would not have bought it, because it's not one of my favorites. It has pretty good songs like Red Sails, Fantastic Voyage, DJ, but still. Then I got this one, Ziggy at the BBC. It's a compilation of different performances from David Bowie in between 72 and 73. Then Station to Station by David Bowie. This one was pretty hard to find. First time I saw it, and then I took it and found a beautiful surprise in it. And the surprise was, it was pink. It was a very nice surprise. And I don't know, I'm really happy to have found this record and this version. I love color vinyls. Then a few of my most important findings. Space Oddity by David Bowie. Well, I really wanted to get this version. It's the original pressing from Germany back in 72. 4 years after the original release of Space Oddity in the UK. They released this with this different cover, and I wanted to get this one because, I don't know, it's different, and I already got the other one on CD. Also, the same thing with this one, the different cover for The Man Who Sold the World. This one as well was pretty hard to find, especially cheap, because they tend to be more than €30, so it's really hard to find them, and I finally did. And probably the most important finding I had was this one, The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust by David Bowie, the original pressing from the UK. Now, this is an album that's pretty hard to find in a reissue, which is not the 180 gram audiophile version that was released a few years back. Now, it's extremely hard to find the first pressing and to find it cheap. And I got it for €18, and honestly I don't regret it at all. I'm very happy I took it. Now, the new album by Bob Dylan, the Real Albert Hall concert from 1966. It's double, and it's just magnificent. Then the first album released by Dylan in the 70s, the New Morning, great album by Bob Dylan, a great welcoming for the 70s. Then the second album for the 70s, Dylan. This one has a lot of covers, and it's a very good album with the version of Lily of the West, Can't Help Falling in Love, Mr. Bojangles. They're very nice songs. These two are original pressing. Then I got The Times They Are Changing for £10 in Swordfish in Birmingham. This version is a mono and also a high quality version, so high fidelity version, and I was really glad to have found this version. It's pretty weird, I had never seen it before. And also the bootleg Bob Dylan and Johnny Cash Nashville 1969 outtakes. These were the songs they performed together in a duet, and in the end they only took one of these songs and released it, which was here, the first one of the side 2, Girl from North Country, for the opening of my favorite album of all time, Nashville Skyline. Now also I got this magnificent piece, The Beach Boys, but Sounds, also as well as Ziggy, a very hard to get album in non-new reissue. It's very hard, and it's even harder to find a first pressing. I got this weird version by Capitol, a high fidelity recording. It must sound very good, I haven't tried it yet, but I'm pretty glad to have found this masterpiece.